But it's informal, so relax. So.
Okay. My name is Karen McGuire. I'm from Mashpee. I'm the daughter of a Marine who served in Korea, so I know the casualty, the results of being at war.
Could you raise that into the mic?
Okay. I also am a Blue Star mom, a young man who served in Iraq, and a Gold Star mom. For anyone who doesn't know, that means you lost somebody. My desire, my reason for coming, is to make sure that our services are available to, I've seen the result of veterans not taking advantage of the services because they're too far away. I know that we have a group of veterans here that try to make themselves available to offer the transport to the hospitals. In the case of the young man that, a 30-year-old, my only options when he was home for a few days was, okay.
Again, it's informal, so please take your time, and we definitely want to get your testimony because we're going to keep the video recording of this for ourselves as well.
Okay.
So,
my only options for the young man in my family that was coming home for a few days was to either drive him to Boston or to Providence, and the amount of time that he was going to be here in Massachusetts didn't allow me to take him to any place. I'm not asking that, a hospital be built. There needs to be more access. I know a lot of veterans go hoping to get help, and the first day is paperwork and trying to get an appointment. And then it's the juggle to get back. The young man in my family is from Colorado. We didn't know if he was receiving any services out there. The first appointment he is going to be able to have is in November, towards the end of November, to be seen for post-traumatic stress and his other health issues. So I just wish things were closer or more available. I wish more people were here. There seems to be a lot of veterans that could be taking advantage of the services if there was something closer where we could offer them transportation back and forth. But it's, like I said, I came because I wanted to support, we need more services, we need more services available. And even for family members of the military, the nearest HAPS group for support for those who have lost someone in the military requires me to travel to Springfield. And that's a lot to do. And my kids need support because they lost their brother. They've seen their older brother, suffer the consequences of what he saw in Iraq. They've seen what their grandfather has suffered. So I just want to support our veterans, and that's why I came today.
well, I wanted to say, God bless you, your family. God bless you, and thank you for your sacrifice. And I truly appreciate the fact that you were able to come up here and give this testimony or your comments to me, and it means a lot. I mean, and I think it gets to the point of what we're trying to get at, in that just the burden, the difficulty to get service, to get healthcare services, for your child, to try to get them, like you said, to Providence, everyone all the way up to we're getting services up to Springfield. And I just think that, and how many local places are you passing that could give your son the same, and your children the same quality service that you would get somewhere else. And I also want to emphasize too that if somebody truly wants to go, we did hear some testimony of people who want to go to the veterans hospitals, that there's something there that's really good for them, or they have a doctor there or what have you. And we're not trying to take that away by any means. by from anybody. I just think that veterans should have a choice. And we need to create this dialogue, and I truly appreciate the fact that, you know, that you're willing to come out here and say, you know, and talk about it, because it's important that I think other people, you know, hear these types of stories. And you know, your family paid the ultimate sacrifice, and this should not be a hassle. You know, and you know, that this should not be difficult. You know, and it goes for all our veterans who've served nobly and their families they've left behind. You know, I just don't see there's any reason for it. And I think I think everything our federal government spends money on, and you know, I want to say here in Massachusetts that I do believe in Massachusetts, and this is a bipartisan committee. This is I'm going to say a bipartisan comment here, is that we do a lot for our veterans in Massachusetts. I mean, we can't do everything that, you know, a lot of this does to fall on what the federal government does. But I think as far as states go, we're probably the best state for what we can do for veterans at the state level. But you know, what we're dealing with is an issue of federal nature, and so you know, I think the federal government really needs to revisit this. So thank you very, very much. Anyone else want to chime in? Thank you.
My name's Terry Cook. I'm on the local board of selectmen here in Mashpee. And I just was wondering what we could possibly do to help get the word out that your subcommittee even exists, because until a few days ago, I didn't even know it existed. And there is obviously a huge need to help service all these folks that are coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan and the families that are left behind. So what can we do as a local group?
Well, thank you. Well, I think it's just simply, I mean, as a select person, I mean, you have your meetings. I think, you know, talking to your veterans agents, talking to other veterans that you know, veterans organizations, and really getting the word out that yes, you know, we have the subcommittee, we're doing this. You know, if possible, we can come back, or just have more of an informal, you know, roundtable discussion or something. I'd be more than happy to come back before the subcommittee time expires. But as well as, I think, you know, again, you can send us letters, you can call us, you can get the word out of their stories, of what we're doing, and then we can try to build a network from there, because eventually we're going to have to, you know, eventually what we're going to do is try to take this awareness, take these stories, take the testimony that we're getting, the input we're receiving, and then pass it on to the federal government. And that's where the biggest thing would be is having people who are willing to then, you know, contact their congressmen, contact their U.S. senators, and say, we need to do something. And what are you going to do about it? And I think that's ultimately, you know, to start a dialogue. I do know at the federal level, and we are trying to gather some more information on their study. The veterans, the VMA, the Veterans Administration is apparently doing some sort of study on like this very issue, but what they're doing though is, from my understanding, is they're looking at areas that are very much more like a rural situation, like upstate New York, you know, where it could be hundreds of miles and it's like, okay, yes, that's an issue, and you certainly should be looking at that. We may not have hundreds of miles between veterans hospitals here. However, there are great distances. You include traffic, you include limited parking, you include the fact that the veteran hospitals are already overburdened. And again, there are so many other local private facilities or nonprofit facilities that are non-veterans that can do most of what our veterans need. And I think that's what we need to, you know, emphasize to the federal government. And again, without knocking the veterans hospitals, we're not trying to take money away from them. We're not trying to close them, but we're trying to enhance what they already offer. And by building probably more partnerships, whether it's more clinics, partnerships with local hospitals. And I think it's got to start at the local level. I think, you know, because a lot of people, you know, they go to the local veterans agent. You know, if they, and again, there's even a lot of veterans out there who don't even realize that they can get services of any nature, whether it's health or otherwise. And they just simply need to be contacting their veterans agent. that is a whole other issue in itself. I mean, we run into that all the time for people I know who call my office, I'm sure call Representative Perry's office or Representative Madden's office who call us and want to know, all of a sudden reach a snag in their life and want to know what they can qualify for. And, you end up just hooking up with the local veterans agent and all of a sudden it's like a wealth of information for them. So some of that too is just trying to inform folks veterans that they may already qualify for health and services. So I think, but yes, I think the biggest thing you can do to help us is continue to spread the word, tell hey, there's a subcommittee looking at this. This is an issue that you care about. Please try to contact us. You can contact us. You can contact us through your local state rep as well. That's no problem either. And eventually, through those contacts, through the input that we receive, we're going to need help in advocating to the federal government, because ultimately that's where it's going to fall. The state's going to be very limited in what we can do, but we'll try to do what we can do at the state level, or at least we'll recommend what we'd like to do at the state level. But eventually we're going to have to go to the federal government and say, we need to do something. This is not right by our veterans. We need to do something.
How long are you accepting testimony?
Well, we'll accept testimony, I think, up until the end of November. I've talked to the chair. I think we can get extended into December if we have to. Basically, what we'd like to do is have our recommendations so that we can be basically prepared. Anything that we may file, whether it's a resolution to Congress, any sort of legislation that we may have to file at the state level, if anything's pertinent that we can do to help out, any of those kind of recommendations that we're going to report back to the Committee on Veteran and Federal Affairs, to Representative Naughton, Chairman Naughton, and anything that we're going to want to do as a committee or as individuals. Our new session starts in January, so we want to kind of have things kind of ready to go for January. And again, and then even correspondence to our federal officials and all that. Plus, everything will be everything in January, new Congress, new everything. So it makes sense at that point is when we really want to kick in with the advocacy of this issue, even at the federal level, because everything will, the silly season will be over, and we will be into the situation of, okay, here are our federal officials. We need to, get them on board with this from Massachusetts, and hopefully other parts, hopefully that will spread to other parts of the country as well. But we need to do something, and even, we've had one person who works in the medical facilities who said, listen, even we could try to do a pilot program somewhere, and pick a region, try to do a pilot program, and just see how it goes, and then, so there are different ways we could do it, and try to do it, and try to partnership with the federal government. But yes, definitely through November, and we'll do stuff through December.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other input or questions or anything like that on the issue that anybody would like to add? Or okay. So I guess again, I'll just kind of close it out as this: that what we'd like to do again is get your correspondence, let you know that this subcommittee exists, and that in any way that can be passed on through cable, through the media, that'd be terrific. And again, I'll give the phone number again, and that's 617-722-2489. I'm State Representative Paul Frost, and that's F-R-O-S-T. Our State House address is, you can send it to the office of Representative Paul Frost at room 542. Again, that's room 542 at the State House, Boston, Massachusetts, and it's 02133. And we would really appreciate your correspondence and input. And if there's opportunity to come back out, whether it be in an informal or formal setting, be happy to do that. I want to appreciate those who did speak, and it does add to what we're trying to do, believe it or not. And I think through this, again, part of it's trying to get input and testimony, part of it's trying to get awareness. And I think what we're doing here today is going to do just that. For the Cape, is trying to get awareness out there that somebody's looking at it for our veterans and their families. Somebody is looking at it. We're aware of it. I can't make you promises. I'm a state representative. We're a subcommittee. I can't speak for my other members of the House, of the 160 members of the Senate, 40 members of the Senate. And again, it is heavily a federal issue, so it's limited what we can do, but we can advocate. We can create awareness.